Okay. All right. Welcome back to the second round and final round of our 3-minute thesis competition. We have three of our top candidates here, our top presenters, who will be going momentarily. But first, I want to just acknowledge our judges, so I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm David Brandwein. I am an associate professor in the Advanced Studies in Psychology department, and I am the associate training coordinator of the program PsyD, of the PsyD program in school clinical psychology.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Wenli Yuan. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Communication. This is the third time I'm judging this competition.
Hi, I'm Fred Fitch, a lowly assistant professor of communication. And this is also my third time judging this event. I'm the basic course director for all of the 1402 sections for Kean University.
Thank you. So I'm Medea Valdez. I'm the director for the physician assistant program here at Kean, and Dr. Beck sends his regards. He could not be here today, but he sends you his good wishes and is looking forward to hearing the results. So let me just let you know what is at stake today. So our first prize wins $500. Our runner-up gets $200, and then we have the special People's Choice, which is $100. Okay, so all of our winners, we will be celebrating you Wednesday in the STEM atrium at 11:30. So there'll be the presentation there for our winners. Okay, all right. So without further ado, we're going to start off with, just get your names right, with Theresa Holly.
Susan, you can do this. Don't stop, you can do this. But I had to stop and rest because my legs were hurting so bad. Picture Susan, an 80-year-old woman with lung cancer, breast cancer, fibromyalgia, and high blood pressure. You may think Susan barely gets out of her house due to her multiple health conditions. But if you asked Susan how she perceives her health, you might be surprised to hear that she says she's healthy. And she gets out every day. Susan is part of our growing population of older adults that will reach 89 million by 2050, more than double the number in 2010. But why should you care? Your grandparents, parents, and even you will be a part of that 89 million. Studies show it is important for older adults to continue engaging in activities outside the home in order to maintain their overall health and quality of life. As occupational therapists, it is our role to ensure individuals are living life to the fullest. How many activities do you do outside your home that keep you happy and healthy? Does the way you view your health affect your ability to do these things? To explore this topic, we conducted a qualitative study with 5 older adults from a community mobility program. The purpose was to examine the relationship between health perceptions and community participation. Interviews were used to hear the individual stories, and 5 themes emerged. 1, positive perceptions of health despite multiple health conditions. 2, means of transportation. 3, positive mindset and persistence. 4, valuing independence. And 5, various reasons for community participation. To illustrate, we had one participant who had a stroke, leaving her partially paralyzed on the entire left side of her body, but still rated her health as a 9 out of 10 and goes rolling in her wheelchair every day. Susan, for example, uses self-talk to keep herself motivated and avoid asking others for help. All 5 participants reported they frequently enter their communities, whether it be to go to church, the supermarket, or the mall. We found that positive perceptions of health, along with these other factors, contribute to increased community participation. Our healthcare system needs to consider and promote positive health perceptions. Who are we to impose limits based on diagnosis? We need to encourage Susan. Yes, Susan, you can do it. Thank you.
And our second contestant, our second presenter is Monica Franklin.
Take a minute to think about your bedtime routine. What activities do you do before you go to sleep? Are you texting, using your phone with the TV on and the lights on? These are all things that research has shown to impact your sleep in a bad way, and yet many of us are going to do that tonight before we go to bed. Now, insomnia affects 10% of the general population. But for those with mental health disorders, chronic sleep problems can be as high as 50 to 80%. Now, chronic sleep problems mean falling asleep, staying asleep, and getting out of bed. And while this is such a big issue for these individuals, there is very limited research on the habits and routines that they are participating in, as well as how they feel it impacts them. So, my research group and I visited 6 community wellness centers and had 53 participants who filled out these surveys while we also conducted a few interviews. Our results found that those with mental health disorders do indeed have poor sleep, showing that it is vital for us to better understand this topic. Very few people were able to identify what impacted their sleep in a bad way, but those that did found that it was napping, texting, using their phone, and smoking cigarettes. Many more people knew what helped them sleep. The top results included turning off the lights, listening to music, taking a warm, relaxing shower or bath, praying, or taking medication. One participant stated, "If I don't take my medication, I don't sleep." In fact, 80% of the participants take medication as a part of their routine. Now, over half of the participants stated that snacking before bed was good for them. Yet there is research that contradicts this, saying that if you enjoy that warm, gooey chocolate chip cookie before bed, that does not help you sleep. As occupational therapists, we don't want to take away that cookie or desired activity. We just want to find a better time of day where they could still enjoy it without it impacting their snooze time. So, therefore, we want to empower individuals with mental health disorders with the ability to identify what is impacting their sleep. Because if you don't know what the problem is, how are you going to fix it? So, and now I pose this question to you. How will you, tonight, help yourself sleep better? Will you dim the lights 10 minutes earlier? Will you put your phone on silent? In fact, I challenge you to keep your phone out of your bed completely. And with that, I hope you sleep well tonight. Thank you.
Alrighty, and our third and final presenter, Eric Ginsburg.
How many of us have ever forgotten to take a prescribed medication? Or maybe you just started feeling better and stopped taking it altogether. It happens all the time. Now picture yourself or a loved one being discharged from the hospital for whatever reason and having to now take 3 new kinds of prescription medications, all at different times of the day and during different days of the week. Managing your medications just got a whole lot harder. You see, medication management is a process in which a person has to schedule, plan, problem solve, and take their medications. But medication management is more than just a personal responsibility. It affects us as a society. How? Well, in 2014, non-adherence to prescribed medications accounted for an estimated $100 to $300 billion of avoidable healthcare costs in the United States. Medication mismanagement is more than just having to remember to take your medications. It also includes difficulty seeing the prescription label, comprehending the instructions, or manipulating and opening the pill box container. And it's estimated that nearly half of adults living in our communities regularly mismanage their medications in one of these ways. This results in a costly problem that places a major burden on America's healthcare system, known as hospital readmissions. Lucky for us, however, there is a profession that exists that not only addresses medication management within its domain of practice, but in 2016, this profession was also the only one associated with reduced hospital readmission rates. This profession, ladies and gentlemen, is occupational therapy. To further reduce readmission rates, occupational therapists at a local urban acute care hospital developed the MEDICOG-2, an assessment that considers both the physical and cognitive factors associated with medication management. To further reduce readmission rates, did I say that? My research team and I administered this assessment to adults living in the community to gather normative data against which future scores can then be compared. Additionally, through a questionnaire, we gathered and assessed self-perception of how well they think they manage their own medications and compared it to how they actually performed based on this assessment. Our results showed that adults 65 and older reported high confidence in their medication management abilities. However, when compared with their younger counterparts, they performed and scored significantly lower on the MEDICOG-2. This suggests the need for an objective medication management assessment tool. Our research was aimed at gathering data to support the use of this assessment by healthcare professionals so that they can determine what level of assistance is needed before discharging somebody with new medications. Through continued use and further research of this assessment, we will be able to keep readmission rates low, cut healthcare taxpayer costs, and keep patients where they want to be, at home. Thank you.
So thank you so much to our three presenters. We really appreciate everything. It was really great. So now we're going to have our judges head off into the side room and they'll tally the scores and they'll be back in a few minutes with the results.